cases of nouns in Czech. It's a big system, but let's start with the theory. So I'll copy this picture that I found online, and basically it's a picture with, it's called vzory. Vzory are templates. When you do cases in Czech, they have certain meanings. So when we do noun cases, it's like with pronoun cases. We have 7 cases, and they have their respective question words that basically explain what they mean. We will have kdo and co is who and what. And we will respectively put these question words in all the 7 cases to ask in these words in the 7 different cases and show how these words change, so that we show that the nouns will change, pronouns will change. So in the basic is the who and what, kdo and co in the basic form. All right? But in the next cases, it will be different. But before we do that, because you don't know these forms, so they won't mean anything to you if you're just beginning, we need to explain what the cases actually represent. The cases represent some usual prepositions that the word is associated with if it's in that respective case. So when you have particular prepositions, you need to put the nouns in that correct case. Prepositions go for like nouns and pronouns and stuff. So, for example, if the preposition is, there's no preposition, it's just the subject of a sentence. This house is here. Then it's the dictionary form of the noun and it won't change. It will be first case. So this is first case dictionary form. What you see in the dictionary. But then second case is with prepositions from, to, without. Third case is with prepositions like give to, when you give to someone something or tell someone something or something. So that's third case, dative. That's in the Latin terminology. Let's also mention that because you can relate it to other languages if you know these names, Latin terminology theory. This is genitive. It's also related to of. All right, of, when something is like belonging, that's genitive also. Then this one is just the first case, the basic is called nominative. All right, then fifth one is accusative, and this is basically an object of something, like to see, to know, to do, and then the object is put in the fourth case. I see him, I do this activity, I know this. That will be fourth case. Fifth case is calling someone, like hey, and then the name of a person. And sixth case is associated with so this one is called accusative. This one is called, actually I don't know how this is in English, but well, let's just not write this name then. And then fifth case is called vocative, because it's like calling someone. Most languages don't have a change in the word when you call someone's name, but in Czech it is. In sixth case, it's called locative, so it's inside a house, for example, or it's also about. So it's associated with preposition about. So when you use preposition about, it's sixth case. And preposition with or by the means of, like by, is seventh case. So when it's associated with the preposition with, it's seventh case. So that's why it's easy to remember a preposition for each case. So if I want to simplify it and just want to give you a very simplified form of explaining this, then I would say this is dictionary form. First one is dictionary form. Fifth one is calling someone. Fifth one is, it doesn't have a preposition. It's really an object of an action. Third one is usually to, but as in give to someone, and from, to, without is second one, and fifth one is calling someone, six is about, and seven is with. So we won't actually need to rewrite it, but yeah, let's just keep what we wrote before. Actually, we end up with the same sort of explanation. So this is explanation of cases. It's a basic explanation. Now, we can put the words who and what into all these 7 cases. So let's write it out so we show examples how things change. Koho and čeho is the second one. Komu, čemu is in the respective order. This is koho, co. This is not to be mentioned with these words. Kom, čem, and tím, čím. So these are our words. And this is how we change the words who and what, kdo and co, into all these 7 cases. But for nouns, each noun, depending on how the noun looks, has a particular corresponding form. And as we see, there are many forms. Basically, it all is broken down into 14 words that are templates, and all nouns in Czech are parallel to one of these 14 templates. So what you first need to do is know which gender a noun is. You need to remember that, or find some analytical skills to generally be able to find that out regularly, most of the time at least. So, střední rod is neutral gender. Ženský rod, this is here, is female, and mužský rod is male. So these genders are basically 3 genders in Czech. So each noun has one of these 3 genders. And now you need to know that once you know a noun, that's why it's important to know genders. Once you know the gender, it can be one of the templates that the gender can have. So, and based on that, you will change the ending of the noun. So with nouns, you need to remember how you change the endings, because there are so many more nouns than pronouns, right? So while we learn endings for pronouns in cases, we need to learn more complex endings for nouns, because there's far more nouns. There's 6 pronouns or 8 or something, but nouns are hundreds and thousands. And what we have to do is basically analyze this. The neutral, let's start with neutral words. So nouns that have neutral gender. For example, město means city, moře is sea, kuře is chicken, stavení is building. So these 4 words in Czech are examples of neutral gender, and they represent 4 subgroups of Czech nouns based on how they will be declinated into the 7 cases, how their endings will change. So the theory of cases stays, but the way their endings change is different. So if you have for example, generally, neutral gender noun that ends with o, it will follow this pattern. First case o, then a, u, o, e, u, m. And množné číslo is plural, so you need to learn it for singular and plural. Then, if it ends with e, like this, re and kuře, which are both ending with even 2 letters in the same, they can still be different. If it's of the type kuře, of the parallel to this noun, declinated, falling into the group like kuře, then it would have these endings. And if it's moře, like the word sea in Czech, it would have these endings. So you just follow these same endings. You will take that other noun that you know is parallel to it and put it in these endings. That's an explanation, reverse explanation why it works. How it works. Stavení, generally if a neutral gender noun in Czech ends with this e, it's changing the least, as you see. It will fall into this template, and it will always be e. Just the plurals and 7 case are more different. But stavení is the simplest. It has the least changes. But you always need to know, firstly, you need to know singular and plural of the noun. And then you also need to know the template. So if it's a neutral gender that ends with this e, probably it's this template, and it will follow the 7 cases in this pattern with these green endings. Even if it's a different noun, just it's neutral gender and ends with e. Also, there's other approaches, like you will spot that certain genders of nouns mostly do not end with these endings. For example, this e is reserved generally for neutral. You wouldn't find other templates, like when you look below for female gender, of male and female nouns ending with e. So that's a good thing to spot. So you, for example, will find these patterns and refer to them when trying to form the cases. For female, we have these 4 words. Again, 4 templates. If it's a female noun, you know it's female and it ends with a, most probably it's according to žena, which means woman, this template. And then the respective endings will be like this for the 7 cases, just like we always introduce the 7 cases in the same order as was explained. Růže, if it's a female ending with e, it will most probably go like růže, like these patterns of endings. If it's a female ending with a soft consonant like this ñ, it will follow píseň template. If it's a female and ending with a hard consonant, it's gonna have this pattern. Notice that even among those different templates, many of the endings interlap, but not all. That's why we need to treat it as separate templates. For female, it's the most templates. For male, it's 6 templates. We have soudce, předseda, muž, and pán. These 4 are living beings. And stroj and hrad are things. They represent things. So first, it's male gender noun. If it's a male gender noun, it must be one of these 6 templates. Follow one of these 6 templates way of endings for the 7 cases. But then you need to determine which is it like a being or a thing. If it's a thing, it would be either hrad or stroj. That would be quite straightforward. So ending with a hard consonant like hrad, probably declinated like hrad, like all these. If ending with a soft consonant or neutral like stroj, probably like this. If it's a living being like pán, it means man, or muž also means man, just different contexts. If it's ending with like a hard consonant like n here, it would probably be like pán, declinated like pán. If it's with a soft consonant like ž here, it would probably like muž. And if it ending with like and it's a male noun, it's probably like soudce, and předsa is like this. So these are the nouns you would use.